Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Aurogiri. Once again, I'd like to say thank you for the huge success the AMA video was. It was a lot of fun. Everyone had a lot of fun that time. I know Emily had a lot of fun because they kept whispering and they were very active in it. I thank everyone for commenting and having all these great questions and making conversations, and just having fun. I couldn't have done that video without you guys. It was the whole point of it. We're probably gonna try to do more, or I'm thinking that we might do an AMA at every end of the week. So the end of let's say not this Friday, but maybe next Friday and the Friday after that, depending on how they go, because they're a lot of fun, but as long as we cover some of the topics we need to cover all week and the support's good, we can do AMAs and little festivity things every now and again. So that was awesome, so thanks for that. So today's video is titled A Leveling Guide. Now the whole the term leveling, and I'm stuttering a lot this morning, because I haven't made a video in 3 days, so and I just woke up not too long ago, but that's just how it is. But we're doing a leveling guide. Excuse me. Need to get some oxygen into my, lungs. But I got a request from a guy named Uchiha Pride, and he says, I'm new to Onigiri, can you do a leveling guide for low levels? So I said, sure, I'll do it next week. So now it's next week, and here we are. So, it's a very vague question, a leveling guide. I was talking to my friend Harai about it last night, okay, so I gotta do a leveling guide, so I'm gonna say, he's like, yeah, that makes sense. Then we got into more stuff. So, the first part of this video will be just how to level, if you're just starting out. And then in the latter half, we're gonna get into a more advanced leveling concept. But it's very generic, not generic, but general knowledge, but it's just good to get this knowledge out. So let's start. So a leveling guide. First things first, you go to, whenever you make a character, so say you just made a character, you're very new to this game, you have to choose between 5 types at the beginning. So there's daring, there's kind, there's cautious, there's power, and there's defensive. Now each of those classes is there to represent, how your stats are going to be distributed. So, I'm daring, so that means my power gets plus 28 or 26, something like that. It gains I have buffs from my mags, right? So I can't really see, I might not have any power buffs, to be honest, actually. Because this is all Fated Contractor, which does not give you power. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh no, this one has a Confining Terror. So that one does give me 2 power. Okay, so I have 46 power plus 26, so 72 total power, and then I have 100 wisdom or 100 vite. Sorry, you can tell it's early for me. I'm making a lot of mistakes, but I'm correcting myself. My wisdom is 16 plus 18. Basically what I'm saying is whatever class you pick is going to determine these pluses on the right hand side. Now my title does give me 5 vitality, so this number should be 18. And mind is lowest, and dex is really high because the cross gives me a bunch of dex. My mags give me a lot of dex. But if I click flogger, it goes down to 39. So yeah. Okay, so there's already 5 people. That's awesome. That's so cool. I was not expecting that. Okay, so leveling guide. I say that, one person leaves. So basically, the first step you want to know is what you're getting into when you pick a class. So, that's probably one of the worst things about Onigiri, is that you're forced to pick a type before you really understand how the game works and all that, unless you do your prior, studying and knowledge and all that stuff. I don't know why I'm yawning so much, it's annoying. So I do have a new mic if anyone's curious about that, if I sound any differently or anything. My old one was good, however, it would push into my ears, and that would Oh my god, calm down, Ari. But the old one used to push into my ears and like it would push my ears into my glasses, and after like a couple hours of playing it would really hurt my ears. So I had to take that back the other day, and then I got some new ones. They're really good. I like them. I think they're Turtle Beach PX24s, and they actually fit around your ears, and they're really awesome. So they're awesome headphones. I really like them. My friends say the audio quality is good. I just hope it's good in the videos as well. I haven't made one since I got them. So why is my controller not plugged in? I don't trust this. Okay, so you know. So we're 5 minutes in. I said leveling guide like twice, and we talked about stats, so we haven't really done much. But I'm going to get into it more now. So, as I was saying, you know, there's 5 classes to pick at the beginning, and they all determine your buffs and stuff. The first mistake people make, you know, making characters and getting into the game is they'll pick a class, like early, they'll pick a type, and then later they're like, oh, like, you know, I picked daring, but I really love spears. Spears are awesome. So then they put all their points into vitality, but then at the end, it's still not giving them enough points to get stronger, as to get like the most affinity they can. It's pretty clear to me. Okay, thanks, Ari. So, you know, so some people are like, oh, well, that's basically how I was. You know, I picked daring, and then I played bow and twin sword in the early game, and then I couldn't get any Magatamas, so I went spear because I had Magatamas for that, but I never reset because, you know, I didn't want to reset. I wanted to see how far I could get without resetting, and we're still there. You know, I hate all this yawning and stuff. It's so annoying. Okay. So let's just talk about leveling and stuff. So, you know, you picked your type, and then it tells you, oh, if you pick daring, you're going to use twin swords and bow. And then it's like, if you pick cautious, you're going to use wand and or bows or twin swords. If you pick power, you're going to use, or daring, you can also use power weapons, I guess. And then power, you're going to use either power or spear, and then defensive, you're going to use spear. Honestly, you should only play the defensive type if you're going to be playing spear. Yeah, I wouldn't even play healer as a defensive type. Like, if it was your main thing to be healer, like, you might as well go, like, kind or cautious. But, or not daring, though. But, yeah, hi, Rhyme. Hi, Luxor Eggplant. Wow, everyone's awake today. This is weird. And then, you know, like if you want to even use the power weapons, most players actually go daring instead of power type. Just because power gives you a low numbers to dexterity, and dex is like the best stat. So you never really want to play power. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I'm more of a fan, like if you want to play axe, sword, or odachi, I'm more of a fan of telling you to go to daring, and you know, have good dex for crit and stuff, and then you'll have high power anyway. And you know, like I think most power type users will go daring, then bow and twin swords will go daring, wands will go cautious or kind. Well, you could go either way. And then healers should go cautious or kind. I'm doing Sodom Line right now and getting wrecked. It happens. It happens, Rhyme. We've all been there. And then I think you should only go defensive if you're gonna be playing spear. Like, don't go defensive if you're gonna play like another class. Like, if you're gonna go defensive, go spear. So, like, that happens all the time. And the other day I said, you know, sometimes it's really easy, or maybe I didn't say it the other time, but I was talking to my friends about it. And let's, like, honestly, you should just try out every class in the game before you get settled on it. Unless you do prior research by like watching my videos or looking on the wiki, etc., etc., and studying up. I would highly advocate, because you can have 6 characters on PS4, and resonance is a thing. So I mean, I would highly advocate, make a character, try out that class, see if you like it. If you do, keep going. If you don't change that character right away. Like, if you, let's say you play power but you end up liking spear, go make a defensive character. Or if you go power, you end up liking wand because you can play around with it early game anyway. Just leave that character there. Go make you can have the character have the exact same name, same appearance, and everything. But you're better off just, you know, leaving that sword character alone and then go making that wand character. And the reason for that is resonance. If you can make a bunch of characters early on and then go back to them when you want to play that class, that would really help out the process of resonance building. Resonance is sort of like leveling, but it's like a universal rewards concept for having, you know, a bunch of level 50s or level 100 characters. We were working on it the other day and we only made it to like Kaga and then I gave up. But, you know, if you have so many characters leveled up to 50, you get bonus defenses, bonus money gain, bonus storage, bonus food. It's just very good. Now some players, they'll be like, oh, I didn't like this character so I deleted it. Well then you're just going like, you know, 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. You know, I'm just saying, don't delete your characters until like you've made 6 different characters, okay? Unless you literally name them like some stupid name and you feel embarrassed by it, then by all means delete them. But, you know, that is what it is. So, I feel like I'm not doing very good in this video. I don't know why. I feel like I'm very lost. Like I'm not doing it correctly, but whatever. So when it comes to leveling, there's 2 ways to, you know, go about your status points. So, if you're gonna go through the game, if you know, like, you're gonna, like, all these games are late game now. Like, no one watching this video is gonna be a day 1 player. Everyone watching this game is gonna be coming into an already meta established game. So there's already players and there's new players all the time, but it's not everyone's fresh off the boat. You know, you're coming in and there's already good people around. So if you're already like friends with someone good and they're going to help you through the game, then like there's one method of leveling that I'm going to recommend. But if you're going to go through the game like solo, naturally you're not going to get carried, then there's a different way to level up. So if you're going to go into the game, like just like I'm going to say, like we're going to start with, you know, you're going to go through it like by yourself, make friends as you play, progress through the story naturally, all that stuff. You're going to want to level differently than someone who's just going to get a character carried up. So, for this example, we're going to say that you're a bow or twin sword user. So let's say you want to go through the game, bow, twin sword. My advice is always, whenever you're playing any character, any class, always put up your main stat first. So what that means is I'm going to be using bow and twin sword. I'm going to be pumping dexterity and not touching any other stats for a good time. Now that cutoff number is usually like by the time you get Kaga, you'll touch another stat. So basically you should get to about 70, 75 in that stat, and then you should start touching a secondary stat. Now that secondary stat is going to be mind. You know, unless you're a healer, but don't be a healer because then you rely on other people, and you don't want to rely on other people in this game until late game, because you can do everything solo up until a certain point. But you know, from the perspective of a bow or twin sword user, I would recommend, you know, you put 75 points into dexterity, and then the rest of your points should go into mind until you get about 50 mind. Now why I say mind is because mind is SP regen. So if you're going to be like just going through the game naturally, you're going to need SP regeneration. Because if you can only hit 10 attacks in a row, but then it takes you like 5 minutes to get all your SP back, well, it's going to take you a really long time to get through the game. You need to be independent in that case, and mind allows you to do so. And then, you know, but then alternatively, If this character's just gonna get carried up, you know, your buddy's like, oh, I'll get you to like Echigo, don't worry about it, we can get you to level 100, and then we can go from there. That's where I'd say, okay, you want to put 100 points in your main stat first, then worry about the others later. So that would be like, if you want to make a spear character, and you know your buddy is going to be getting you up because they need a spear late game, you know, that's when you just put all your points into vitality, and then after that you worry about your mind and stuff. You just get that done first, you check it off. So those are like the two ways to go through the game, in my opinion. So when you're leveling early game, you want to put all your points into one stat. That is unquestionable. However, how far you go into it will depend on how many, like, if you're getting carried or if you're going through the game naturally. So, you know, when I did it, I had 70 dex, 40 mind, 40 vitality. That's just how I went through the game. So, you know, I put points into dex the whole time because I thought, well, why would I put points into anything else? And then once I got to about 70 dex and the points started costing a lot, that's when I started putting points into mind, and then I started putting points into vitality. I did them both like at the same time in intervals, but I would wholly recommend you go like your main stat up to 70, then mind up to like 40, 50, then like, I don't know, once you've done that, then put the rest of points into your main stat. So that's the same thing for power too, like, you know, get 70 power, then get some mind, and then get, you know, then finish off your power, and then once that's done, that's when you start pumping up your dex. Because honestly, those are the three most important stats. Like, that's how leveling should go. If you're gonna use swords, axes, and odachi, like this is just a breakdown of how your leveling would go. You'd put 70 points into power, then you'd put some points into mind, then you'd go back, finish off power. Then after that, you just put all your points into dexterity. You'd put about probably 72 or 84 points into dex, and then you'd have at least 24 or 48 points in wisdom. That's how I'd build a power character. You know, and then if you're spear, 70 points into vitality, then you put points into mind, then you put points into, then you finish off vitality, then you work on dex for crit. You know, but if you do it all, you know, there's an order of operations to this, because let's say you just go, well, I put my points into dex first, I got my 72 out of the way, then I put my points into mind, and then I'm going to put my points into vite. And it's like, well, if you're a spear user, you're going to have crap damage the whole way through. Don't do it. There's an order to things. So it's get your affinity first, then get your SP regen, then get your crit and cooldown and all that good stuff from dex. So then what happens if you're playing dex? So when you're playing dex, you don't have to worry about it. So you're going to have 100 dex eventually, and then you're going to have mind, and then you're going to put like all your points into like power, and then like 48 wisdom, and you're never going to touch vitality, and it's a pretty easy build. And then if you're going to play wand, you're going to have like 70 wisdom. If you'd probably get 72 wisdom just for that 3 crit. Then you'd go like 85, at least 85 mind, and then you'd put your rest of your points in a dex, and you wouldn't touch the other two at all. Like staff's different. Wand and staff are different because they don't get physical affinity from power, and those bonuses aren't that really helpful for them. So they would just go like, you could go like 100 vit and like 100 mind, and then the rest in a dex, and you'd be fine. So that's how I would level characters of each class. People will say, well, how do you level a staff character? Don't make a staff character. Everyone has mind as a secondary stat, and you don't really need to worry about it all that much. So, you know, so that's how I view leveling. For those like if you're just coming into the game, that's what I recommend. So where do we go from there? So as I've said time and time and time again, power leveling is bad in this game. Because you can only get friendship items from enemies that are within a 10 level range of your level. So If you're level 20, you can't get friendship items from enemies that are level 9. So you're gonna want to, you know, always want to just stay around the monsters you're fighting. And if you can beat them already by getting the weapon you need, by all means stay there and farm up some friendship items. Because friendship items are very, very important. But honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about them until you're in like Kyoto. In Kyoto, that's where you can be like level 40 in Kyoto and get to the next area at level like 45. Like, it just happens. But if you took the time, you could literally leave Kyoto at level 60, 65 from Yakumo Temple alone. It's a great money grind. It's a great experience grind. It's one of the best early, I call them hyperbolic time chambers. You just go there and you come out stronger. So, you know, you get through the game. Getting to Kyoto is pretty easy. And then, you know, you can power level, you can friendship farm in some of the dungeons, etc., etc., whatever you need. But, you know, by the time you get to Kyoto, you're going to need your Yoshitsune to be at least like level 5 or 6, or else you can't continue with the storyline. And then you need Shizuka to be at least 5 or 6 to get through Sekigahara. And then I think that's the only 2 limits you have for characters. And then once you eventually get to Kaga, that's where you start farming friendship items. Because you're going to need Susanoo to be level 8 by the time you leave Hokurikudo. So which is like after Kaga. So friendships are very important, but if like now some players, they will actually they'll power level their whole life, they'll get to Echigo, and then they literally can't get friendship items except from this hell of a dungeon called Ice Caverns, and they literally have like the worst time ever, because if you don't get Susanoo to level 8, you can't progress through the storyline, you can't access new dungeons. And if you're already like level 90 because you power farm but didn't give a damn about friendship items or gave them to the wrong characters, you're gonna be like up poop creek without a paddle, let's say. And that's what causes some people to make new characters, restart, and even quit. I would not like doing a dungeon where you walk in and cannon shoot you dead in 3 seconds, because that's what Ice Caverns is early game. So no one wants that. It's probably one of the easiest ways to build resonance is to not know how to play the game, because you're gonna get there, have a level 90, it's like, well damn, I can't do anything anymore, so I'm gonna go make a new character, and no one wants to do that. Well, I mean, if it's your first character, you don't want to have to admit defeat. It's like, oh, I screwed up, I have to go back. Because, I mean, sure, you'll be a heck of a lot smarter and everything will be easy for you, but, you know, it's just, it's not practical, it's not fun, it's not how you play a game. So, next thing. So, as we said, you know, don't power level too much, make sure you're getting a lot of friendship items as you go. Always give friendship items to who they belong to. So, like, give pendants to Shizuka, give paperbacks to Yoshitsune. Honestly, you don't need to touch Moroku until you know what class you're going to play, because he sells you specific Magatamas at specific levels that are going to be very vital to your character. So, if you don't know anything about Moroku, like, you know, go watch my bargains guide, because it's going to tell you how to get mags for your class, and then in the description of that video is a link to his negotiations levels, which shows you what Magatamas and what items drop at certain levels. So if you're going to be a sword user, never level Moroku past negotiations 4. If you're going to be an Odachi user, same thing, you need to stock up on yoke Magatamas. And then once you get a bunch of those, you go to rank 5 negotiations, level 5 negotiations, and then you get dusks. If you're going to go axe, you don't need to worry about it for a long time. But power class can do anything, so you might as well stock up on all of them. You know, spear, the spear doesn't have to worry about Moroku's level. Staff doesn't really, they can get Reihos or something, but, you know, I don't really know it all too well. And then twin swords, you're gonna wanna, you can get rank 7 mags. Seriously, oh my god, why am I yawning so much? It's so annoying. Twin swords can get some Magatamas, but they're not really that important. The only one you really need is like Kirin, and you just use that as material to make better mags later, and you get that at like max negotiations anyway, or level 7, so you won't have to worry about that one. You'll get it eventually. And then Bow literally gets no mags from the bargain, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're Bow, just go ham. And then Wand gets Wand will get Magatamas at negotiations 3 and 4, so you don't want to power level past that till you have like, I'd say at least 20 of each. So, you know, don't touch Moroku early on. Give all your pendants to, or like until you know what you're doing and you've done your research, don't touch Moroku. Give all your model kits to Kaguya, and make sure you get Susanoo to level 8 and level up, you know, Ibaraki and Momotaro at your own leisure, whatever. So there's that. Those are those few things I was gonna say. People are talking about things. Okay, so leveling guide. Now next thing, when you're going through the game and you just want some tips, honestly, you should go through if you're capable, go through the entire game on hard. Don't go through on normal, don't go through on hell. Go through on hard, because hard has the best drop rates for mags, and if you're playing hard and you happen to be like, let's say you're doing some Izumo dungeons and you get a really good mag, it's really awesome. You know, like the other day I made a new character for Resonance, you know, she's level 25 now. She was going through the Kyoko Forest or whatever, Kokucho Forest, the first real dungeon, and she got an Asugi mag just running through. And I was like, oh my god. I think I was playing Hell, which makes it really low chances, but it happened. And then I said, well, we might as well just play the whole game on hard anyway, so in case you get a mag that's really good. Like, let's say you're a sword user, you run through the game and you grab an Araya. I was like, oh my god. You'd be ready to make a Skyrending like as soon as you get there. So Ryujin keeps leaving what do, because he keeps hitting exit. This is like his 3rd time, 5th time. But, okay. So leveling guide, you know, I went over the numbers. We're going over now. Just go through the game on hard. Don't power level too much. Friendship items are important. You know. Now, the best places to level. So, like as I said, if you do need to power level, so let's say you've gotten all your characters to like max friendship in Kyoto, then by all means get a party together and get your character to level 65, something like that. You can do it in Yakumo Temple. People run it all the time for money, so it's not hard to tag along. And then the next grind spot is gonna be Kaga. Honestly, you just do Sekigahara, you get through it as quick as you can. That's what everyone wants to do, because no one wants to be there. And then either you get a field boss or you don't. That's up to you. Well, it's up to luck and if people help you and stuff. But that's one way to power level really quick. But honestly, as long as you're level 60 to 75 in Kaga, you should be fine. So why I say 60 and 75, the enemies in Kaga on Hell, like in Secluded Forest and Momiji Well, those are the best friendship farms in the game until later. The reason I'm saying those levels is like the level you want to be at is always going to be the level of the next tier weapon you can use. So for spear characters, let's say you have a spear in Kyoto or a spear in Sekigahara. I never had those spears because I only went spear in Kaga. But I know the Amino Hiboko, the rainbow looking spear, that thing is a level 60, 65 spear. Like, I think that's the level range for it. So you just got to be level 65. You get that spear, you know, you do good with it. And then the next spear you get, the Rose Maiden, is a level 82 weapon. So, you know, that's a good 20 level range you have to not really worry about, but that's just, honestly, like, that's the only levels that matter. So if you're playing spear, like, or whatever class, you want to get your next strongest weapon, use that thing, smelt that up to at least 50, then go to the next area, and then in the next area find out what your next weapon is, and then get that weapon. Those are the only levels you should really grind to, because that's all level really means. Sure, skill points are important, but after like level 80 skill points, you know, you should have enough to be good, and just getting more points just adds up a smaller value of just you improving. Wolfpack is late. That is fine. I woke up late today too. So yeah, like honestly, a leveling guide is get a weapon that you use, then find out what the next weapon you get is, be that level, use that weapon, and just keep getting your level to match the next weapon requirement. And then it's in Kaga and Echigo where that starts to taper off, because the spear you use is a level like 60 something, and then the next spear you get is a level 82. So if you want to power level between those 2 points, by all means. But, you know, unless your Susanoo is level 7 or level 8, do not power level or you will destroy yourself. So, but once you get Susanoo ready, and you just, if you can get your friendships down pat and just get them all done, by all means, go ham, power level to your heart's content. Go to Echigo, go get stronger, but, you know, honestly, you can't really power level there anymore. But you can easily get to your 90s in Echigo, and then get to 100 in Kusatsu, and then, you know, get to 110 in Edo. That's just how the natural progression should be. And then you get to 115 in Oshu and Islands and Tanegashima. So that's how that is. Honestly, like, when they asked me to do a leveling guide, I wasn't really too sure on what I would say for it. But this is generally how I would go about it. I tell someone, you know, do your stats, make sure you play your weapon, make sure you have mind investment, all that stuff. You know, the only level only really matters so that you can hold your next weapon type. Like, level doesn't, like, those numbers on people's heads doesn't mean a damn. Because, like, let's take Tiffany for example here. So, you know, Tiffany is 112. So, you know, Tiffany has the capacity to use, like, the second strongest weapons in the game, which would be the 110 gargoyles. But they're not the 115 gargoyles. So, basically, you know, if I walk up to Tiffany, it's like, oh, she's 112, she can help me out. But then I look at her, and she's holding, like, a level 90 staff. Well, it's like, oh, well, she was only using level 90 weaponry. But she could be using, like, that spear that's level 108. But now she's running away. But you see, now that she's using a 108 spear, she's actually really good for her level. But you could walk up to, like, a 110, and they could be holding a lightsaber or a 7-star sword, and they're literally bad. Oh, they ran away. You know, level doesn't mean anything. All level really means is, oh, you're this level, you're now high enough to use your next tier weapon class. Because you could be 115, but if you're still using crap weapons from Echigo because you put Ogis on it and you don't want to not use it, you're going to have a bad time. That's literally like how the leveling guide would work, in my opinion. So, you know, you need to be a certain level to use certain Magatamas. That doesn't really matter later. The only real level that matters in the game is level 105. Like, literally, if you get to 105, you get to use the best Magatamas in the game. You get to use, like, some of the best weapons in the game. And then that's all there really is to it. So leveling early game, I think I covered that. You just want to go at your own pace. Don't power level too much. Friendship items are more important than leveling. Put your stat points where they should go. So 70 your main stat, and then mind till it's about 40, 50. Then you go back to your main stat. Then after that, you put points in another stat. That's basically how you build a character in Onigiri. efficiently. You don't want to be that guy who's got 50 in every stat, and it's just like, you're a jack of all trades, but you're a master of none. So, you know, people will say, oh, well, Aurelia, you're that person. You have, like, at least 50 points in every stat. And, you know, I don't. I have 100 Vite, 100 Dex, 50 Mind, basically 50 Power. So, you know, the Power gives me extra affinity to damage and attack and attack speed and stuff. Mind is SP regen and stuff. Wisdom is 1 point to crit. You know, I like my build. People would say, well, your build is wrong. You shouldn't be a hybrid. And honestly, that's true. If you want to go into this game and be at like top tier potential and be the best you can be, focus on one weapon type. Don't be, you know, someone who's playing like 5 different weapons just because they can. You know, if you want to be someone who uses multiple weapons, then play power or play dexterity. But if you're going to play spear, vitality should only be touched if you're going to play spear. It's not a good stat to have otherwise. So, you know, exactly. Wolfpack says it there. It's all about having fun. Because at the base of this game, there is no PvP. There, like in our game at least, there's no PvP. There's no leaderboards yet. There's no, you know, it's not a competitive game. Onigiri is a team game, you know. It's all about, you know, playing with your friends, having fun, beating dungeons, overcoming things, getting stronger together, but ultimately having fun. Because if you're playing a game and you're not having fun playing that game, you're not really playing a game. You've turned like a leisurely activity into a chore. And Onigiri can be a huge chore because it's a grind fest. But let's say you're playing this game and then a month later you realize, oh, Axe is the best. I should give up using these fun moves like Water Dragon and Misty Massacre and just playing the game fun and doing well, and I'm just gonna go start building up axes. He just beat the boss and saw it. Oh, that's rough, buddy. That's rough, Rhyme. We might have to fix that for you. But it is a big grind fest, yes. So, like, ultimately, you know, the game's about having fun. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, Axe is the best, so everyone should go Axe. And you have fun till you do Kyoto, and then once you get through Kyoto, you get your reset, and then you get your reset, then you go Axe. It's like, no, that's not how you play a game. That's how you know, that's like, that's more like a life plan, a boring life plan. It's like saying, oh yeah, well, you're in school, you can have fun and do whatever you want, but then once you graduate, your fun's over, you have to go get a shit job, and you have to do that for the rest of your life, and, you know, everyone does it, so don't fight it, and just go do that. Like, that's bullshit. Like, like, this is a video game, don't play a video game that way. Now, that might be some people's case in life, but honestly, you know, it's a game, it's about having fun. I mean, I say don't be a staff user. I mean, if you want to be a staff user, you can do it. But late game, based on the mechanics of staying low health to do max damage, not many people are going to want you around. You know, if no one wants you around, you can't play and you can't have fun. That's why I'm saying it. Now, it's fun to be a staff user, have like 100 mind, and just shoot shadow balls at things. That's a different story. What I'm saying by staff user is usually just a healer. If you're going to be pure healer, you're going to not be desirable late game, so people are going to start abandoning you. You're not going to want that. Then you're going to start picking up another stat. Your skills aren't going to be leveled. You won't have weapons for it. You'll be so far behind. You'll probably lose your friends. You'll have to make new friends. And then you'll be like a level 110 that's as strong as this level 70 you're helping. Like, you know, it's not going to be that good. So, you know, we're 40 minutes in. Like, I think I've honestly said what I've had to say when it comes to leveling. So just a recap: don't power level. Feel free to experiment with different weapon types until you choose the one character to be your main. You know, there's no contract. Oh, I made this character, I have to do it. Hi, Joseph Turgeon. Hello. You know, so there's all that stuff. So when you're going through the game, if you know your character is just going to get carried and you want to get them up, put all your points in the main stat first. Otherwise, 70 points in the main stat, then around 40-50 into mind, and then you go finish the main stat later. And then you go back and then you pick another type. Generally, there's always going to be one stat a player will not touch when they pick one class. So, like, realistically, if you wanted to be like twin sword or bow, like let's say I am right now, and you didn't want to be a hybrid character, because I really enjoy playing spear, bow, and twin. I enjoy it a lot. But if you wanted to go just, you know, today will be update? No, Edgar, the update is not today. The update will probably be Thursday or Friday. All I know is that on Wednesday, I know the money campaign is over, and Dagger's Peak might be going away this week, and Miyamoto might be going away as well. I'm not too sure on it, but that's our assumption. But, yeah. Like, if you were to be a twin sword or bow user, I'd say you put 100 points into, you know, you'd go 70 points into Dex, then you'd go 40-50 points into Wisdom or Mind. Then after that, you'd put points into Power until you got about 50-60 Power. And then you'd put in like 24-48 points into Wisdom, and you'd never touch Vitality. And then probably after that, you'd touch Mind a little bit, and you'd be done. Like, you know, like late game, you can have, I think you could have 2 stats at 100 and then 1 stat at like 80-90. Or you could do 2 stats at 100, 2 stats at 50, and then a little bit into 1. Like, that's how mine is. I have 2 100s, 2 50s, and then, like, you know, power is not 50 because I have investment in wisdom as well. So that's usually the breakdown for it. Now, it really displeases me is to see that I really enjoy there are 14 people watching, but, you know, I'm more of a video maker, not really a streamer. Like, if I'm never doing a stream, it'll be a day where it's just a stream where we do stuff and people can watch, and that's awesome. And I'm not shaming anyone. I'm just saying it really upsets me when I see there's so many people watching and I have to end the video, because I know people are learning, they want to watch, they want to see me, and all that good stuff. And I love that. But it's just, this video is coming to a close, just letting people know that this is a video, not just a stream. But I mean, I don't know why I'm worrying. You people want to watch. We have a lot of fun together. Maybe I'm too critical on myself, too empathetic, I don't know. But that's how I do a leveling guide, Uchiha Pride, because he asked for this. I hope it helps. You know, if it doesn't, let me know. I can try to clarify it again for you. But, you know, as a general look on leveling guide, from my perspective, that's how I would explain to someone starting the game. This is how you'd level to say you'd go through things. Okay, relationship. This isn't an AMA, but she says, do you know if they're adding resurrection to the update? And do you know if they're going to fix the login calendar? My answer to that is probably. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it helps anyone who wants help leveling and learning how to distribute their points and how to play their character, etc., etc. I hope I did a good job on it. I know I felt I didn't do a good job in the video as I was doing it. I was yawning too much and getting distracted and not really saying as much as I should have. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I never really make scripts for videos, so it's all usually just improvised. I try to premeditate my thoughts, but at the end of the day, anything can happen. So, thanks you guys for watching. Any questions, by all means, post them in the comments on YouTube, and I'll catch you guys later. We're going to probably do another video really quick, pretty soon after. So, I'll see you guys then.